The sun dipped low over the turquoise waters of Maui, casting a golden glow on the private beach where Mark and Elena had promised to rekindle their fading marriage. Mark had scrimped for years, selling his vintage car collection to afford this dream vacation, believing it would fix the cracks in their 10-year union. He watched from the shadows of the palm trees, heart pounding, as Elena laughed in the arms of a tanned stranger, her lover's hands roaming possessively over her body, the same body Mark had cherished through miscarriages and job losses. She didn't see him, too lost in the kiss that shattered everything. In that moment, Mark's world crumbled. The woman he adored, the mother of his unborn dreams, had stabbed him in the back with casual cruelty. Rage ignited in his chest like a wildfire, vowing silently, she would pay, and the world would watch her burn. Mark's hands trembled as he slipped back into their oceanfront suite, the door clicking shut like a guillotine. The room, once a sanctuary of scented candles and rose petals, now reeked of deceit. He paced the balcony, replaying the scene. Elena's sultry whisper to the stranger, her body arching in pleasure that should have been his. For years, he'd been the devoted husband, working double shifts at the construction firm to fund her art studio dreams, ignoring the late nights she claimed were inspiration sessions. Now, the truth clawed at him. She'd been mocking him all along. That night, as Elena returned flushed and giggling excuses about a solo beach walk, Mark forced a smile, his voice steady. "Missed you," he lied, pouring her wine with hands that itched to shatter the glass over her head. She leaned in for a kiss, oblivious, and he endured it, the bile rising in his throat. Sleep evaded him. Instead, visions of revenge swirled, poisoning her trust, stripping her bare. By dawn, he'd decided, no messy confrontation yet. He'd play the fool a little longer, gathering ammunition. Back home in Seattle, the burden settled like lead in his gut. Mark threw himself into work, but the site foreman noticed his distraction, nails hammered too hard, blueprints torn in frustration. "You okay, man?" his buddy Jake asked over lunch. Mark shrugged it off, but inside, the rage festered, turning meals to ash. He started digging, hiring a private investigator on credit, sifting through Elena's phone records when she showered. The evidence piled up, texts to Tropical Dream, hotel receipts from business trips. Each discovery was a fresh wound, fueling the fire. Weeks blurred into months. Mark's once warm demeanor hardened. He snapped at his aging mother during Sunday dinners, her concerned eyes mirroring his isolation. "What's eating you, son?" she'd probe, but he'd wave it away, the lie becoming his armor. At night, alone in the guest room while Elena slept soundly, he'd stare at the ceiling, torn between justice and the abyss. What if he exposed her publicly, ruining her budding art career? The thought thrilled and terrified. Justice meant balance, but destruction whispered sweeter promises. He imagined her tears, her pleas, and it sustained him through the hollow days. The pursuit reshaped his life. Friends drifted. Jake confronted him after Mark blew up over a harmless joke about marriage. "You're like a ghost, bro. This whatever it is killing you." But Mark couldn't stop. He quit the firm, using his savings to launch a side hustle in real estate flipping houses like he'd flip Elena's world. Success came, but joy didn't. Every closing felt like a step toward her downfall. He shadowed her gallery openings, watching her charm patrons, her laughter a knife twist. One evening, at a crowded exhibit, he overheard her confiding to a friend, "Mark's so predictable. I need excitement." The words ignited a scene in his mind. He nearly confronted her there, but held back, the internal war raging. Justice or annihilation? The line blurred as obsession consumed him. Elena's world began to crack under the strain. She complained of his distance, her touches rebuffed. "What's wrong with us?" she'd whine, but Mark's cold stare silenced her. His mother fell ill, pneumonia from the stress of his withdrawal, and in the hospital, Mark sat by her bed, her frail hand in his. "Don't let hate win, Mark," she whispered, but he squeezed tighter, the revenge a chain binding him. It affected everyone. His sister stopped calling, fearing his volatility. Yet, the drive pushed him forward. He compiled a dossier, photos, emails, even a video from the vacation he'd secretly recorded. The weight pressed, but surrender wasn't an option. Vengeance was his oxygen now. As winter gripped the city, Mark's plan crystallized. He'd wait for the perfect moment, one that would shatter her illusions. The emotional toll mounted, sleepless nights, a growing ulcer, but the anticipation was intoxicating. He was no longer the broken husband. He was the architect of her ruin. The burden shaped him into something sharper, colder, ready to strike. Spring thawed Seattle's chill, but Mark's heart remained frozen. The dossier grew thicker, a Bible of betrayal tucked in his safe. Elena's affair with Tropical Dream, real name Alex, a sleazy resort developer, hadn't ended. They'd met in hidden motels, her lies piling like snowdrifts. Mark's days blurred into surveillance, tailing her car, hacking her socials with a cheap app. The obsession eroded him further. Mirrors showed hollow cheeks, eyes shadowed by perpetual fury. Work suffered. Deals fell through as paranoia crept in, suspecting everyone of complicity. Torn between measured justice and total destruction, Mark wrestled in the quiet hours. A public leak could end her career, but what if he went further? Framing her for embezzlement from her studio, or exposing Alex's shady dealings to drag them both down. The thoughts danced like demons, justice a noble mask for the primal urge to obliterate. One rainy afternoon, alone in their home, he smashed a vase she'd bought on their honeymoon, shards scattering like his shattered trust. Kneeling amid the pieces, tears stung, not for loss, but for the man he'd been, now lost to this venom. The ripple effects deepened. His mother recovered but distanced herself, her calls laced with sorrow. "You're scaring me, Mark. Revenge isn't life." Jake cut ties after Mark accused him of knowing about the affair, a baseless outburst born of isolation. Elena sensed the storm. Her flirtations turned defensive, small lies fracturing under his scrutiny. At a family barbecue, she announced a solo art retreat, and Mark's facade cracked. He gripped his beer until it foamed, the internal scream deafening. How much more could he endure before unleashing hell? The turning point came unexpectedly, not with kindness, but a brutal truth that hardened his resolve. During a stakeout, Mark witnessed Alex berating Elena in a parking lot, slaps hidden by shadows, her sobs echoing. She wasn't the villainess he'd painted. She was a pawn in a larger game, but it didn't soften him. Instead, it fueled the fire. Alex's abuse confirmed her choices were poison, deserving of backlash. No redemption for her weakness, only reckoning. Questioning peace? Vengeance promised the only closure, a cathartic blaze over the ashes of doubt. Months later, the plan ignited. Mark orchestrated the exposure at Elena's biggest gallery show, a retrospective of her passionate works, attended by investors and Alex. He bribed a waiter to spike the wine with a truth serum light laxative for drama, but the Real bomb was digital. Midway through her speech, projectors hijacked to her phone, blasting affair videos, texts, even Alex's criminal records Mark had unearthed via a shady contact. Gasps rippled. Elena froze, face ashen as patrons whispered, Alex bolting like a rat. The confrontation erupted backstage. Elena lunged, nails raking his arm. "How could you?" she shrieked, tears streaming. Mark's voice was ice. "How could you? 10 years, Elena, gone for beach trash." Alex swung, but Mark dodged, landing a punch that split the man's lip. Years of pent-up fury unleashed. Security dragged them apart, but the damage was done. Elena's career imploded, sponsors fleeing, her name synonymous with scandal. Alex faced lawsuits Mark anonymously tipped off, his empire crumbling. In the aftermath, Mark walked away, the weight lifting like fog. He sold the house, cut all ties, rebuilding in isolation, a new city, a security firm thriving on his sharpened edge. The revenge shocked the circles they'd shared, a legend of calculated fury. No regrets gnawed, only the hollow satisfaction of balance restored. The cost? A life scarred, relationships incinerated, but victory tasted sweet. The flames of reckoning had consumed everything, leaving Mark forged anew in retribution's fire, a man unburdened, if forever changed. In the end, revenge exacts a toll that reshapes the avenger into a solitary predator, where the thrill of destruction overshadows the void it leaves behind. Moral of the story: true revenge quenches the thirst for justice, but poisons the soul with eternal isolation.